Yeah, this is going to be just a quick video of this BBK throttle body I put on my 2001 Chevy Silverado 5.3 two-wheel drive. I got the 17090, which is the 85 millimeter. The 1709 is the 80 millimeter. It fit on there pretty good. I have no issues. It's pretty simple. The original one, here, these bolts, the studs go into the intake manifold. They're 10 millimeter. Once you break those loose, you got to take the studs out. That's pretty simple. This goes to the valve cover. You'll have to take off. This is pretty simple wire. This right here, the cruise control, there's a C-clip that pops out of there, and this thing comes right off. It looks just like this. The C-clip holds that on, and that's a little pain. That's the pain in the ass. There's two things that are a pain in the ass to get this thing off. Is those coolant lines on the bottom here, and I use pliers, needle nose like this, and some WD-40, and they slid right off. So first thing, you disconnect the two sensors. I have a electric conversion van, so mine's I don't have that shroud. But this, you pop this right off, take the 10 millimeter bolts off, and then once those are off, I can move it up enough. Well, I just connect these, or just the throttle cable, because I couldn't get the C-clamp off while I was on. So I disconnected the coolant lines, and then I had enough room to turn it around so I can get that C-clip off. Once you get that C-clip, you got little picks. You can pick at it. If you do break it, they sell replacements real cheap. You get like 5 of them on Rock Auto for like $6 if you break it. So I mean, that's worst case scenario. You got to buy a new one. So once it's off, my intake manifold, because I have the EGR delete, was really clean. The inside's really clean. So I got that little plate right there. The only thing that was filthy was this old throttle body. Sorry about that. I mean, I cleaned it up a little bit since I took it off, but I mean, I sprayed it down with some cleaner. But this thing was totally closed up with just gunk. It was closed up, and that's the hose that goes to the valve cover. So that, I didn't really have an idle problem. But these two sensors here, I got new ones as well, because if I'm going to replace the throttle body, I'm not going to put old sensors back on there, which would be causing a problem too. So I got these on Rock Auto too. This one right here is the expensive one. You got to make sure if you have a 3-prong or a 4-prong. I have the 4-prong, which of course is more expensive. An original one, GM original, which I would go with. I wouldn't get some aftermarket crap. You get them for $20, but it is 80, I think 89. I think this one's like $20, GM. I would go with GM sensors. I wouldn't buy crap aftermarket, because I think you might be asking for trouble. But once it's off, it's pretty simple. And then you're going to want to also get a new gasket. One of these. Definitely get a new gasket. So once I got the old one off, I took the studs out. And these are Allen wrenches. So I cleaned it up. Make sure you clean it up nice in the grooves. Spray some cleaner in there. Then the spacer, the paper gasket, and then just tighten it down. I put these, plugged them back in, put this thing back on. You know, this right here, you know, popped on, stuck on the C-clip there. Now what you're going to have to do is they send this little right here. You can see the original screw, this plate was back. Since you're moving the throttle body forward, you have to move these cables forward. And if you don't do that, you're going to be running like wide open throttle because this will be too short. So they sell this little plate which moves it up. The screw goes there, it's recessed, and there's another screw that goes here, and the original holes on the intake manifold. Now there's, I don't know if you can see it. You could see, yeah, right there, that screw that went down. I had to cut right here. There's a thing, you have to notch this out. I used a Dremel, cut it all the way across to the next hole here. I'm sorry, here. Well, yeah, I guess you don't really, you just gotta really notch this one here. Now be careful, be very careful, because you don't want to cut a hole in your intake manifold, then you're screwed. But that's the only alteration that you had to actually make. So you get a little Dremel because that screw going down into there, into that new plate. You can see the new plate right there. It comes all the way across, and it screws into that too. So you move everything forward. And there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room to pull these forward. Now, I put it on. Now I disconnected the negative ground battery, the ground on the negative on the battery while I was doing this. Some people say that starting it up, you have issues, you know, rough idle, and it may be so because the computer has to relearn. And all these videos of how to clear out the computer and all that, touching negative to positive, I don't know, man. All I know is I disconnected mine, and mine started right up. It did run just slightly, a little stumbling at first, but I didn't have any issues. Let it run, went for a drive, came back. I took it on, you know, a nice hour long down the freeway, and I didn't have any problems. I do notice it's a little more responsive. I'm not saying you're going to get like 1,000 horsepower out of this thing, because you got to remember, even though you open this up, it's still restricted at the manifold. So I'm still, you know, letting, I think at the very beginning of the acceleration or just easy driving, I noticed I barely touched the pedal and it goes. I mean, it's a lot tighter. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that. That's the gas pedal. But when I step on it, it just opens. And now we'll see what kind of gas mileage I get. I think it feels like I'll get, I'll probably do a little bit better. Now I've had this truck since 2001. I've had it since it was brand new. So I know it's been how it drives and how it feels. It does shift a little different. I feel the shifts are different. Now I have a HP tuner where I can, you know, I can tune the shift points and the pressures and stuff like that, but I'll get into that. I'll let this drive for a while so the computer can get used to the new throttle body. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. This top bolt, this is an 8mm that holds this cover on, so you really just need a 8mm, 10mm for the old bolts. I got new sensors here, TPS sensor and the ignition control module. Got them on Rock Auto. I'm not, you know, they didn't give me anything free, so I'm not, you know, non-sponsored. The coolant lines, you will lose a little bit of coolant, so put a towel down there. If you don't care, then don't, make sure you do this when it's cool, because that coolant's going to be hot. This 17090 85 millimeter BBK. So far, I'm pleased with it. You hear some horror stories and you hear some good stories. So far I'm pleased with the cold air intake. I've had this on since the truck was new, so it's kind of beat up too, this case. But I did get down here. I ran a hose, air hose, or like a flex hose. It runs up through there, and it comes out up here, so it does get air jetted right up in there too, which kind of helps. But anyways, overall, the BBK 85 millimeter throttle body seems to pleased with it. The throttle response it's a little quicker, as soon as you don't have to step on the gas pedal as much to make it go. So I got to get used to that, especially at a stoplight. I'm like, whoa, I touch it and it goes a little faster, a little harder than I'm normally, just everyday driving. Other than that, if you choose, I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying don't do this. Remember, if you want to alter your vehicle, that's on you. I'm not, I can't be held responsible for any damage that occur because you watch this video. I'm not a mechanic. I like to turn wrenches on my truck, and and the old throttle body, it's old, but it still works. So you keep it, and as fails, you put it back on there if you need to. But give it a try if you think. I got this one. Where did I get this? Oh, I forgot. C&P Performance. And I don't remember. Anyways, like I said, but give it a try. I like it so far. It's pretty simple, and it only took about an hour to change out. This C-clip was that, and this coolant line clamp down here. They're just stupid. Now, if you want to remove the alternator to get to it, it's a lot easier. But now, if you have a fan shroud, you're going to have to cut your fan shroud a little bit, because if you have this, I'm sure, because it's going to come and hit the fan shroud, so you're going to have to cut that fan shroud right here. But if you have the stock intake, I'm not sure about that, so you got to remember, might be doing some more altering. But the only cutting that I really had to do was for this bolt. I had a notch on the intake manifold. That was it. A little Dremel, and cut the plastic, and that was it. And I just put this, since this was moved forward now, this moves forward about the same amount as this spacer. So yeah, it's about right. So I just put the bolt back in there, so you don't lose it. So if you ever want to go back to original stock, then you just move everything back, take that plate off. No harm, no foul. It's pretty easy. All right. So if you choose to do this, good luck. That's all I tell you. Pretty simple tools: 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, some those pliers with the bent tip, and some patience, and that's about it. Remember, you might have to do a relearn. You can take it down to a shop if you don't have the means to clear out the computer and go from there. All right, thanks for watching and listening, and good luck to you.